Set 9.5 has just released on the live servers, and in this video, I'm going to take you through the top 10 best comps to climb with now that the new set is live. All of these comps will be in an Imgur album with explanations that is available for patrons and YouTube members, and the links to join those are down in the description. The first comp is Strategist Azir. The only two units that are mandatory on this board are Azir and Nasus. Everything else depends on your items, augments, and what you hit, but we will play him with strategists most of the time. You almost always want to roll at level 7 because you can play a bunch of different units depending on who you 2-star, but this is the standard board you should look for. You should always look to pair Azir with a duo carry if possible, usually MF, Nyla, Mordekaiser, and Silco. Gangplank and Heimer are great add-ons if you hit them. You should also try to fit in 4 and 6 Juggernaut if possible, especially when you start pushing levels. Azir's best item is Nashor's Tooth. Aside from that, he wants any AP or attack speed items, but the best are Rageblade, Guardbreaker, Gunblade, and RFC. Make sure to always build Magic Shred in this comp, either Shiv on Azir or Spark on a tank, which is usually Nasus, but can also be Nautilus. The other most common 4-cost carry comp is Vanquishers, with Xayah and Nyla duo carry. This comp has multiple versions to be aware of. If you reach level 8 or have +1 Ionia, you can play this board with 6 Ionia and 4 Vanquishers. Nyla is incredibly strong with an Ionia spat, so try to angle for this if possible. You almost always want to roll level 7 though for this comp, so you really shouldn't be playing for this board without Ionia +1, so play 4 Vanquishers with Juggernauts and Sejuani otherwise. The most important item in this comp is RFC on Nyla. Scoped Weapons is a great substitute, but you should even try to get an RFC with Scoped Weapons if possible. Her other best items are Healing, preferably Hodge and AD like GS, Titans, Night Harvester, Sterix, and Titans. Xayah's best items are Deathblade, Runans, GS, Guardbreaker, Gunblade, and Hodge. You should make sure to always build Shred, either Last Whisper on Xayah, or even Shroud on a tank like Shen, Set, or Nautilus. The Noxus comp is still a solid comp to play for if you hit Mordekaiser and have great items for him. The most standard board you are rolling for on level 7 is 5 Noxus plus Qiyana and a Juggernaut like Nasus, but ideally you can push level 8 for 4 Juggernaut or Legendaries. This comp is much better with +1 Noxus, as it allows you to play 7 Noxus. At level 7, put the spat on another strong unit like Nyla, Nasus, Aatrox, or Fiora. Darius is not a great carry anymore after the nerfs, so try to avoid itemizing him. If you manage to hit Katarina 3-star, she is still pretty good, but your main priority should be to hit Mordekaiser 2-star and push levels. Mord's best item is RFC, followed by Nashor's Tooth, JG, Guardbreaker, QSS, and a healing item like Hodge, BT, or Gunblade. Our next comp is Challengers. This comp is much more conditional than the last set, since you don't really have the option for 3 Ionia anymore, with Fiora replacing Yasuo for the mid set. This comp is really not stable with 1-star units, so make sure to roll aggressively at level 7. You have 2 main options when creating your board. This board, which is 6 Challenger 2 Juggernaut, and the other option being 4 Challenger 4 Juggernaut, with Set and Nautilus replacing Irelia and Samira. You can also play 3 Demacia, but it's not that great. Level up for legendaries like Gangplank, Heimer, and Aatrox. If you have a Challenger spat, put it on one of the legendaries or on Mordekaiser or Nyla and itemize them. Fiora's best items are BT, Night Harvester, and Sterix. Other items that work are Titans, Hodge, and any other AD items. Kaisa's best items are Sojin, JG, and Guardbreaker, but other AP items like Gunblade, Deathcap, Shiv, and Giant Slayer can also work. Put tank items on Nasus or Nautilus, and itemize a 3rd carry if you have a Challenger spat. 6 Invoker is a decent option if you have a good opener for it and have AP items. This board pretty much plays the same as last set, with a couple of minor changes. The standard level 7 board is the exact same, 6 Invoker plus Taric, but you can also play Neeko over Taric in some scenarios. You can also stabilize off of 4 Bastion for Invoker at level 7, with Neeko plus Kassadin, so be aware of that. If you get Invoker +1, consider playing 8 Invoker at level 8, but it's usually not that great without Invoker +2, as you don't have enough frontline there. Items are the exact same as last set. Karma's best item is Gunblade, followed by AP and crit items like Archangels, JG, Guardbreaker, and Deathcap. Tank items go on Shen and Taric. Piltover is still very strong, so definitely play it if you get the opportunity in the first couple rounds. Since Aphelios is the new 4-cost gunner, he is going to be the main carry you should angle towards when you cash out. This comp is much more flexible than last set. Typically, your frontline is going to be some combination of Shen, Taric, Sejuani, and Nasus, with Vi and Echo as your Piltover units until you hit Heimer. Consider itemizing Silco as a secondary carry if you have AP items and a good Zon. Aphelios' best items are once again Rageblade, followed by AD items like Deathblade, IE, GS, Guardbreaker, and Runans. Next up is Demacia. This comp has two conditions to be played: high tempo from a strong early game, usually because Poppy 2 with Radiant Stoneplate is the best opener in the game, or with +1 Demacia. If you have +1 Demacia, you should default towards the board shown with the spat on Mordekaiser, and then replace Poppy with Aatrox. If you somehow hit Demacia +2, you should always try to push level 9 for 9 Demacia at all costs, as it's one of the strongest traits in the game. If you don't have a Demacia spat, you should usually play 5 Demacia late game with either 4 Slayer or Kaisa plus a flex frontline unit. Fiora's best items are BT and Night Harvester to pair with Radiant Sterak's, but any AD and healing items will work. Quinn's best item is IE, followed by Sojin, GS, and Deathblade. Jarvan should hold your tank items, and Mordekaiser should hold any AP items. If you manage to hit Kayle 3-star in the early game, put a Rageblade plus either another Rageblade or AP items like Deathcap and Guardbreaker on her. Rogues are the best reroll comp in the game right now. This comp has a lot of options, specifically of when to roll and which units to roll for. If you are uncontested, the most standard way to play this comp is to roll for Graves 3 at level 4 and 5, then either roll for Qiyana at 6 if you are close to her, or push level 7 or 8 and roll for Katarina and Echo. If you can't hit Echo or Cat, push level 8 and 9 for legendaries like Heimer, GP, and Aatrox. This comp is pretty reliant on having a good X-Stall, but it's still playable without it. The best X-Stall is Ice, followed by Wood and Stone. If it's bad, just play 2 X-Stall or drop it all together for stronger units later. Jinx is the best +1 for this comp at level 7, especially if the Zon is Adaptive or Shimmer. Consider playing Mordekaiser and another Noxus unit for 3 Noxes, and Slayer for Qiyana. Graves and Qiyana's best items are Sterak's, Night Harvester, Hodge, BT, Titans, and GS. Katarina and Echo's best items are Hodge, JG, and Night Harvester, but any AP and healing items work on them. Cho'Gath was buffed a lot and became a conditionally strong carry on the meta that you should be aware of. You really need to have the opener or an econ augment to play this, as if you hit too late, it's impossible to come back. There are many variations of Cho'Gath carry, including Shurima and Vertical Bruisers, but those are quite simple and easy to play. Another variation is Cho'Gath Slayer's reroll, with Kayle as a secondary carry. Like any one-cost reroll, you want to go down to 30 gold on 3-1 and slow roll at level 5 until you hit Cho'Gath and Kayle 3-star, while Renekton 3-star is just a good bonus you shouldn't always chase. Level up for 4 Bruiser and 4 Slayers, start itemizing Rek'Sai as the 3rd carry, and if you hit Sion, just drop Demacia and play 6 Bruisers. Cho'Gath's most important item is a healing item like BT or Hodge, and a defensive item like Redemption, Declaw, Bramble, and Stoneplate. The 3rd item can be another defensive item, a 2nd healing item, or Night Harvester. Kayle's most important item is Rageblade, followed by another Rageblade, or any AP items like Guardbreaker, Archangels, Deathcap, or Giant Slayer. The most recently discovered comp is Jayce Reroll, which is playable now after some big buffs to his damage. This is another option you can play from a Piltover cashout, but it's also playable without it. Reroll for Jayce 3 at level 7, and play either 2 Gunners plus a bunch of frontline, or 4 Gunners plus a more limited frontline. Usually you will just end up playing whatever 4-cost tanks you upgrade between Sejuani, Shen, Nasus, and Jarvan. Once you hit, go level 8 and play 4 Gunners and find Gangplank. This comp generally struggles with frontline, so anytime you have an excess of frontline, this comp becomes a lot better. Jayce's best items are Rageblade, RFC, IE, Last Whisper, and Giant Slayer. Tank items go on whichever frontline unit you upgrade, and itemize Aphelios as a secondary carry if you have extra items for him. Thank you so much for watching. If you learned something, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. If you want cheat sheets for any of my comp guides, they're available for you to members and patrons, and the links to join those are down in the description. And if you want to get better at TFT, join the Discord. We got over 9,000 other players there who are hungry to climb. And if you want to get coached by me, the information is over on the Discord server as well. So take care and see you in the next video.